All right, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to the Deer Gear podcast. It is June 4th as we record this, and Mr. Dorge is here with me. Dorge, how you doing?
I'm doing quite okay. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice Tuesday here. It's going to be like 90 degrees today. Weather is finally participating. Got a little bit of dry weather, got my garden planted, and got some food plots prepped. So I can't complain.
Yep, it's pretty much same here on this side. Besides allergy, my God, allergy is horrible.
Oh, yeah, mine have been pretty bad too. Mine have been terrible. Speaking of weather, Total Archery Challenge in Seven Springs this weekend. Probably couldn't
Last weekend,
asked
yes,
for, yeah, probably couldn't have asked for better weather for that.
yes, actually, it was a pretty funny deal. It was seriously blowing. In other words, I
Oh,
was talking to a lot of customers, and whoever used my arrow vein works out better than others because remember, my arrow vein has zero ability, zero resistance to any wind, so they can't blow my customer's arrow as long as you get at least 270 feet per second.
yeah. Yeah, that I didn't realize it was pretty, I mean, up on a mountain, I'm sure wind would
Yeah,
be a
I
lot
mean, as a matter
worse.
of in the morning was pretty cold, but it's not as cold as last year in the Tennessee deal. That was cold.
Good weather
I
for
can
hiking
see my
around though.
breath. Yeah, it was cold for morning for a while. The fog is serious when I'm driving up there, and then of course you can see my face. I'm facing the sun. I got a really good tan again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so
Yes, yeah,
how'd TAC go
mhm.
this year? What were some of the, I know last year the aero flight trends weren't the best. Is it still leaning towards getting worse or are things getting better?
I say I noticed a lot of guys were really moving to a bigger size arrow, which of course, I mean, you see it's not working. You need to do something. Some people are still trying to figure out how to make that 166 shoot with that 200 grain in the front. It was really so funny.
They're still shooting that for TAC, huh?
Some of them do. Not most of them do not, but you still see a few guys with 100 grain point, 100 grain insert with 125 grain insert on the 166.
Yeah.
They still haven't learned yet.
Well, I'm sure they learned when they lost a bunch of arrows.
Well, you see, as long as your pin cap is good and you shoot over 30 yards, that's not a horrible setup. Except, but see, with the tech, you can use rangefinder and so on. It doesn't make that big a difference as long as you know your equipment. But you don't have the benefit of what the arrow do. I mean, with that super heavy whipping, with the wind, a lot of guys, I think I'm seeing them recognizing how bad the setup is, especially with the four wing setup. The wind is
Hmm.
going to just blow them everywhere.
More drag, more surface area.
Exactly. It's not the surface area that the problem is. Remember, you got a heavy FOC. That means your front is extremely stable with a 166. What's the tail doing? It's
Yeah.
flipping 6 to 12-inch left and right. So when the wind blow it, it start moving the entire arrow
Yeah.
very seriously and very fast. Yes, those are not fast arrows, but the problem is that your surface is so big.
Now, would lighter area, a lighter overall arrow be affected more by the wind than a heavier arrow? Like, does the heavier arrow have more mass to cut through and resist that wind a little more?
Actually, it's not the mass is the issue, it's how well the arrow actually flexes. You need to understand, if you put your hand like this, it's not that big. But when you move your hand like this, when you move, in other words, as your flap in the air of the tail of the arrow, it's not the vein or the shaft that is the problem. It's the entire flap. Just like you're holding a single paper in the air, going back and forward is not bad. When you're flapping it around as you go through the wind, that's where the problem is.
Right, but say the arrow flight isn't the issue. Say the like say
It can't.
it's an even distributed weight and it's not a
Okay,
high FOC arrow. Is a heavier arrow less dictated by wind than a lighter arrow?
absolutely, because you got momentum on your side. But the fact is that the heavier arrow, unless you're talking a heavier shaft compared to heavier front,
Yeah, just a even like the distribution of weight's the same.
okay, yes, the heavy arrow would be better because you got better directional control. But the problem is that every time you want to have, if you got to, let me put it this way, you got an arrow that's heavy in shaft compared to an arrow that's heavy in tip. If they both go through wind, the one in the heavy in shaft is always going to fly better than the one heavy in front.
Right.
because it forced the one you have in front, it's going to force the tail to flap all over the place
Mhm.
because the arrow is resisting the initial launch.
Right.
But then both of them, as distance increases, you'll find out the heavier in the front is will always drop faster than the heavier in the shaft.
Just because of the trajectory.
No, because of energy consumption in flight.
Oh yeah, because it's flapping more and losing more energy.
Yes, that flapping process takes energy.
Sure.
And as you flap, you take the resistance also increases.
Yeah. I've always thought that, like, if you wanted to go to a heavier mass weight overall, just like do it throughout, distribute it evenly, and put the weight in the shaft rather than in the front.
I think the easiest thing to think about it, imagine that you got a train. One of them, you got a train with a heavy engine in the front, and all the cars are empty. The moment that train hits, after the train hit the thing, the whole car will just roll over, right?
Yeah.
But now, if you got a train with every single car with the same weight, the moment the front hit, the rest of them will not flip. It will just all pushing towards the same point.
Yeah. That's a good illustration.
Yeah, because you can actually see in your pictures,
Um,
in your head, the mental picture, you can see the
right.
impact of it is significantly higher.
What were some of the most common questions you're receiving from
Oh,
talking to people at Tech?
well, first of all, they all ask me whether that I think the number one question is that people asking me about the aero bump. They say, well, I got the titanium. Okay, two-stage questions. First of all, thinking, if I got money, should I buy the aero bump or should I buy the titanium? I say, if you are not skilled of a bow press, buy the aero bump. If you got a bow press, buy the titanium. They will pretty much do the same thing for the air performance of the arrow alone. Assuming that the arrow bump will give you, say, 8 to 12% improvement on your arrow drop at 60 yards, the titanium will pretty much do the same thing. But when you do both, you do not add them together because they are both addressing pretty much the same thing.
Sure.
It's the resonance of the arrow shaft in flight for the first 25 yards. That's pretty much what it's giving you. It's the energy that was not consumed in resonance in the first 25 yards on any bow that is say over 75% off.
And then on a bow that had like just the arrow bump, and then you wanted to add the
The titanium kit,
titanium kit, you would
yeah, not to,
increase your target acquisition would be a little bit quicker, and there's other benefits
right.
to it.
Well, the thing what you're seeing is that like most of the guys who actually come to me, you say, "Oh, I got your arrow bump. I got your." I will split the two-way. I got a titanium kit in mine. I see that. I see 2.5, 3 inches at 40 yards difference with no change of speed. If I put the arrow bump, do I have to get 5? I say no. You may get 2.5 to 3 if lucky,
Sure.
because they are addressing the same thing, except the feel of the bow is going to be better. The
Yeah.
target acquisition speed at that moment is really faster.
And
And
that's
then
a really big benefit.
it is a benefit, but most people don't really understand it, especially if you're under 35, you won't see that benefit as critical. Because see,
I
when you're
feel it.
young, everything that your eyes, your hand can compensate so much. But when you are in the 50s to 60s, oh my gosh. It's like, are you hunting or not? That kind of deal.
Yeah, when I think of so when I hunted with my Matthews um V3X that
Hmm.
I had it outfitted with the arrow bump, I had the titanium kit, and comparing hunting with that bow to hunting with the Hoyt bow that I didn't outfit that stuff, I felt like I could get on target and execute a shot much faster with the Matthews.
Yes.
That's a big
And
deal.
not, well, actually, you see a lot of customers was trying to, first of all, when you do a tech, you're not on your saddle. You're not on the tree stand. In most cases, the shot is difficult when you're on the ground. So you can control your entire body so
And
much
there's no
better.
limit. There's no time limit to like getting the shot off.
Exactly. The target acquisition, so a few guys I can see, they technically bring the target setup stabilizer on the hunting bow.
Hmm.
But then the second part kicked in. I mean, you said when you do a full target setup compared to hunting bow setup, I mean, I saw so many guys shoot that thing like they were really doing an ASA or IBO compared to, say, a true hunting setup.
Yeah. Yeah, I think TAC has turned into more of like a target deal than hunting
Well,
practice.
I think what we turn out and what we actually do is two different things. I mean, yes, in the end of the day, you're shooting similar target to ASA and IBO, but your mindset should be seeing how you hunt. Because, but
Yep.
you know, is to enjoy the hunting scene re very differently than what a true hunting scene. Because in true hunting, you're the only one.
Yeah, right, right.
Now you go to sort of bullshit all the way with your friends, and then if the thing talk about how each other do stupid things, and go and have a drink at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's
So
not a
what
cheap
else were
event.
oh no, no, no. What else were folks talking about at the booth?
Well, I see a lot of guys really do not understand how to use a lot of equipment. That's the first thing. I mean,
As in your
I'll pick one.
equipment?
A lot of people's equipment, even
Okay.
with mine. I mean, one of the thing that come out the most because most of the guy who come to my booth is to buy glue,
Mm.
the HO 600, and then they say your Dodge, your glue is good, but I keep on clocking on the front, on the back, on the black piece. You know the Lulock a male receiver that is considered the cap of the AGO 600. I keep on clocking it. I say, let me guess. Every time you use a glue, you take the cap out and you put a new needle on it, didn't you? He said, I did. I said, why would you want to do that? He said, yeah, but after you finish using it, I need to store it. I say the easiest thing to store it, which a lot of people, I think in when long time ago when I first introduced AGO 600, I said already, unless you travel, you always keep the original metal needle on the glue and let it sit straight. You don't want to put the damn thing in sideways because if you do it, the glue is flowing up. Eventually, going to mix a little bit with the air and
Dry.
start clogging in the very top. And then the customer said, "Well, you know, I only use every time I use the needle, it's all clogged. I'll try to clean it." I say, "Don't ever clean the needle because if you clean the needle, you're introducing acetone to the entire system.
Yeah, that's bad
And
news.
when you plug the acid, when you plug the needle back into the, even if you absolutely clean it, you will not be cleaning it that good." I say, then the needle gets clogged anyway. I say, how about this? Do it just like I did in my office. When you finish using the glue, keep the bottle straight up. Don't touch the needle. The needle will be maintained open for the next 3 to 5 days based on moisture content. Now, eventually, the glue is going to set itself up and solidify inside the tip. Well, that's good. You know why it's good? It
It's
will
not in the
seal
needle.
itself.
Yeah.
Yes, but the needle can be reused. They say, what do you mean by that? I say, what is the glue actually? Cyanide acrylic. That's a cyanide acrylate. That's the whole word. It's a cyanide acrylic. What's acrylic? It's a plastic hydrocarbon. So what you do is that you hold your hand on the bottle, put a little bit squeeze on it. You notice it's not coming out, so you put pressure on it, right? Second, you put a fire onto the tip. Well, guess what happened?
Melts it.
You burn. You literally change the hydrocarbon into carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, whatever, nitrogen of the rest into the air. The amount of it, you literally burn them to its basic element. Now the needle is open. You can reuse it.
Yeah, we haven't had issues with that. I mean, we use it every day, so it
I
never
know
gets
I
a
use it every
chance.
day, but the problem is that there's not enough people who use it every day.
Right.
And they keep on buying new tip and use it when they throw. I mean, yes, that is not a bad approach, but you don't have to. And
Yeah.
that's then the thing. Do not ever put the plastic cap back because you can easily just bend the needle and then put the tube back in. It is a cap. You're not going
Yeah.
to leak anywhere. Because
Right.
anytime when you remove the cap without a fresh needle or a fresh cap, you'll guarantee not be sealed.
Yeah.
And you introduce moisture into the system and the curing process starts.
Hmm. Yeah. I know when we did that, we did a video, God, it had to be 2 years ago now on
Mm-hmm.
the fletching glue, and
Mm-hmm.
people ate it up.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't. I mean, just like the epoxy, which this year sold quite a bit because I think a lot of people learn about the aero concept and they think they can build on their own on the 204.
Oh yeah.
I see your face. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not even like 100% confident.
I mean, I am on the 300 on the 246. If I simply sit down and pay super attention, I can build a 204. But if I don't pay super attention, 204 ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, I don't have I mean, we're trying to like mass scale this, so giving it all the attention it needs, it takes a lot of focus.
Yes, because if you just try to build a dozen, like right now, you simply do all the CTI with the shoulder first. With the insert, you do it one shot. You make sure they're all good. Then you chamfer all the 204. You make sure they're all good. You acetone clean them, and then you glue them together. And then
Mhm.
with the APS holding the front and spin it. I mean, that pretty much is what you need.
Yeah.
But when you just first time doing it, you don't recognize how important those small parts is. Oh, talk about gluing the CTI. A few guys told me that the moment they shot it, everything comes out. Do you know why it actually will happen? You glue it with a
Um,
super epoxy, and then after you shot it into targets. Now the question is, what target?
hmm.
If you use your MMT, or CTI, or my arrow weave and so on, if they shoot that arrow, especially on a 204 class or lower, direct into say a blob or a broadhead target, or not a foam, but simply a cut cloth target, I will guarantee within 5 to 10 shots, the entire CTI and the insert will be in the bag. Do you know why?
With the epoxy?
Yes, with the epoxy.
No, I don't know why.
First of all, I'm giving you a crash course of what surface area means. In the case of a surface area, it's equal to circumference times distance. That's your total bonding surface. Okay? And the glue is to prevent the debonding of the outer shaft and inner shaft. Just do a fast calculation. 204, which is energy one times pi is your total area times 6. That is pretty much your total surface area of the CTI glue. Look at what 246 does. It literally doubled the surface.
Yeah.
And then you go to 300, you doubled it again. In the case of 204, since the entire contact surface is so much smaller and the glue is meant to flex, when it flexes, that is not enough bonding power to prevent the insert from pulling out.
Hmm.
So if you really want, you say you like to shoot broader targets with the 204, you now need to add another component, which is like the JB well, just on the insert side.
Oh, okay. So
Do you
they'll
know
use
why?
the slow side epoxy on the CTI, but
Right.
the insert using JB Weld on the insert won't allow that whole thing to come out.
Not just that. See, the JB well will do a physical bond because the JB well got iron in it. As it cures, it spur into the aluminium into the
The
shaft.
carbon.
It is not using bonding power. It's a physical grabbing. In other words, it behaves like thousands, if not millions of fasteners.
That makes sense.
I mean, it's like you double side tape something really, just put a small strip of double side tape. Yes, the double side tape will do its job only to a certain extent. At the end of it, you put a rivet. That's pretty much what the JBL is.
So do not use JB Weld on the CTI,
No,
just on the
you literally every single shot from every single arrow will be different.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I never really thought about that. I've shot my 204s into every target you could imagine. I haven't had any issues.
Right, but at the same time, we don't know what kind how close they shot. In other words,
Yeah.
is when they shoot it with a broader target and shoot it under 20 yard. Remember, under 20 yard, most people.
It's a
What do
lot
you
of,
think is happening? The first one is 204, takes just about 20 yards freaking out. That entire flexing of the extreme flex and the impact is what breaking the bonds on the AG USSE is. The HUSE is to slow the flex and prevent the breaking of the bond. But if you really intend to break it, you will break it
yeah.
because the total surface area of the because think about it, what is holding the insert is the inside the CTI holding the neck of the inserts and the insert that was exposed to the outer shaft.
Yeah.
Your total bonding is only about an inch,
And on the
and you. Hmm?
on the 246, that insert itself is fully inside the shaft.
Correct. And not to mention your total contact surface is close to 50% more,
Right.
if not 75%.
Yeah. What would it be a bad idea to use the JB weld on the insert on the 246, or would it just
You
enhance it even
can, but
more?
it's not going to make that big a difference.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because it is said when you start reaching the point that is not enough gluing power. Because if simply calculate after you get a total surface area divided by, say, the bonding power is about 8,000 pounds per square inch. Then see how many square inch you got. That's not enough square inch
Yeah.
on the insert only. Remember, if you look at the insert, it's not the whole insert. The entire thing is just the neck. So
Right.
is this another way? So if you just screwing your CTI into the insert, that portion, if you really wanted to not come out and do a fast one like your production, you can use JP1 on that alone. Because now you
Okay.
simply bond the CTI solidly to the
Two.
insert.
Yep.
So if it
Okay.
fall out, you fall the CTI and the insert together instead of just falling the insert alone.
Sure. That makes sense. What about people that want to build with hot melt? Is that a good idea, bad idea?
Well, again, it's hot melt is bonding power. Hot melt is no different from AGUSSE. I mean, if your idea is to take it in and out fast and adjust it, you can do the thing with AGUSSE. AGUSSE is going to turn the powder at 320 degree Fahrenheit, which is alcohol flame heat. It's
Yeah.
nothing.
Right. So for folks that would want to like index a broadhead or something, um,
Right.
the solution that we use now is just like an O-ring or your spacers that you've made. Um,
Of course, for the people who don't mind losing inserts in the target, hot melt is not a bad approach.
yeah. See, the bonding power is just not enough.
Yeah, because the whole thing is about bonding power.
Sure. Sure.
And then
That
and
makes
then the
sense.
second part is when you shock it, how much bonds are you breaking
Yeah.
on the impact?
The hot melt too just doesn't have as long of a working time as
Mm-hmm.
the slow set epoxy. Like that stuff sets up and the slow set epoxy lets you work with it. Like to float the
Correct.
shaft and stuff, you have a lot more
Mm-hmm.
time to do that.
And you got to and if you're off, you can fix it with the hot melt, but
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get it fixed. Really
It
difficult.
is. Yep, it is. What
And of course, you can't tell people what they already know. I learned that.
yeah. Yeah, we've been through that.
Yep.
So,
And then
um
the other thing I'm seeing is a lot of people have really get to know how their knock fit. Remember we talked about podcast and the knock fit?
yeah.
The kid was saying, "Well, I love your A knock. It's too tight. I got a brand new Matthew." I said, "Did you calibrate your Matthew string?" He said, "Yeah, it's like 135, 133, 137." I said, "Yeah, that knock is to fit 112."
Yeah. There's
Yep,
too much of a space to try to capture there.
correct. He said, "Yeah, you work quite quick on my Carbon Express." I say, "I understand." I said, "If that's the case, you use the Carbon Express knock."
Yeah, or get your string reserved.
Right. Just reserve the string to get the size you need.
Yeah.
You actually, another thing is that with your string serving being smaller and tighter, you actually get performance out of it.
Oh yeah, it's a better consistent fit.
No, actually, it's not just consistent thing. You tighten up your entire internal, and the whole thing become more solid.
Yeah.
Most of the factory strings are not served under high pressure, which means that your edge of that string is always in a form of a D instead of a circle.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you knocked it. It can behave differently. And
Sure. Yeah.
it's in some cases the shape of the string actually can kick your arrow.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad that people are starting to kind of talk to you about it and ask questions and try to learn. That's
Well,
the
but you
goal
still
here.
have to think, how does the Firenock works? What's the switch activation system? I say you want a short version or long version.
Yeah, you'll always have that. You'll
I
always
know,
have that.
but that's okay. I mean, I'm guilty of that because I have not really come out and educate everybody how Firenock works. Most people listen to the podcast or listen to you guys or have used our equipment knows, but that's a small and few between.
Yeah.
The amount of people who know that is really small,
Well, that's
which is
good
a
because
good
you get to
thing.
blow people's mind every time you show
I know. You say, yeah, what do you mean by it's a computer? I say, yeah, that's a 50,000 transistor. And you say, what?
them. So, are you going to the Michigan TAC too?
Yep, I haven't even I don't even bother to unload my van. I got another tote with all the stuff supply that I needed. So I just grabbed that tote, I'm ready to go.
Now, there's two in Michigan this year, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, I guess they're calling it like Wisconsin, but it's,
No, 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 no. It's in Wisconsin.
yeah,
It's
but
actually in the
if you look at where it's at on the map, it's like up the
I understand it, but
UP and
no, no, it's just below. It's actually closer to Green Bay.
okay. Well,
I mean,
um,
if I'm not going to South Africa, I would have gone there
oh, you're
because
going
it
to
happened
South
to go like
Africa
yeah
to hunt?
to set up some business ventures. I was supposed to
Ah,
go in 2020 2022. Well, of course I'm not there. 21. Of course I'm not there. Oh, we're all in a house doing
yeah,
what you call it. We've got to keep our distance.
yeah, yeah. We were hibernating. What
Yes. Mhm.
are you going to get to hunt while you're out there at all?
I don't know. It depends on how much time I got. I only got. If lucky, I got 12 days. That's a lot of things to cover.
You got to at least get one hunt in.
I will see. I will see how it goes because I'm
What
going
would
out
be?
to talk.
Have you ever hunted out there?
This is the first time I went out there.
Oh, okay. All right. What would be
So I
your
mean,
bucket list hunt out there?
a kudu will be good.
Yeah, kudus are cool. What would be your arrow setup if you're going to hunt a kudu?
First of all, I'm using my death stalker. That's no. I will use a mini. I use a mini dragon slayer.
Mini Dragon Slayer.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty much. My arrow bow 3, with the on a 20-inch arrow with a 9-inch, but with a 9-inch CTI 300, and then with the 6-inch CTI 240, and then with the 3-inch of CTI 166 on AIH 3MS.
what a monster. And so what would that weigh about?
Just under 700 grain without. I mean, no, just wait under 550 grain without a point on a 20-inch.
And so
And most
how
probably,
fat
I would expect to shoot that arrow with the 125, which I think is the best.
and how fast could you get that feet per second wise?
I would say around 300, 320
Yeah,
on, on a
that's
on a on a
moving
desktop
for
of. Well, first of all, I can guarantee that shaft anything with the scope with the thing I have. I can guarantee the arrow pretty much hit within what I need in within a 2-inch at 60 to 80 yards very comfortably.
yeah, that's a
So that's on a
missile.
big animal. That's comfortable. I
Sure.
mean, I would not. I'll be comfortable with all the way to a trophy cape, but not into a hippo or elephant or a giraffe. That's
Yeah.
not enough mass.
No. I don't think I'd want to shoot any of those animals anyway.
Well, when you run out of stuff to shoot, you want to shoot something different.
Yeah. A Cape Buffalo would be kind of wild.
Yeah, with the Cape Buffalo, I would actually change my setup from a dagger. I would actually shoot it with a swing blade falcon.
Really?
Hmm. Because I hate to time the breathing of the cape. You
Sure.
know that the rib cage are like blades. When they
Yeah.
fully breathe inhale out, the thing in close. And if you use something like a single bevel or whatever, you hit the wrong edge of the rib cage, that sucker may not let you through.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get to hunt out there if you have the time. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up guys to set up some with hunt clubs and so on, introduce a different group of people to hunt and let people enjoy the outdoor like we do.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And then most important, I try to set up photo safari for most of the customers.
Cool. Well, I hope that goes well. When's that?
That's well, I think if everything goes on fine, I should go there between August. 7 to August 20th.
Cool. Are you doing any other TAC events or just
The
the
last one
PA
I'm doing
Michigan?
is the Miss PA and the Michigan event.
Cool. What are you looking forward to um seeing at the Michigan TAC event?
The Michigan Tech event is going to be pretty much similar to the Pennsylvania event. A lot of customers are coming to me because they saw what their friends are doing
Yeah,
and see the result.
right.
And then when they finish with it, they'll confirm, this is what he got. He do better than I do. What did he do different?
Yeah,
I mean, that pretty much is the best thing. I think in some way, I like all the events is to see what other people are doing and look at their result compared to your result.
yeah,
Because if you don't know, you don't know. Looking at it, and of course, the what sold the most from I think so many people sold my titanium kit is that when customer is shooting, say they're shooting my new phase 4 with the titanium kit, and one guy is shooting with a string bomb. It's that you don't just hold a bow. You got a chance if they allow you to shoot their bow with their arrow compared to yours and see how the arrow flight behave.
right.
Because you really can't argue anything. If you've got two
That's the
guys side by
truest
side, it's
comparison.
now a
Yeah,
25 target. You see how the arrow behave. I mean,
right.
if you're over 40, you're not going to see the arrow flight. But when you're younger, you can actually see the entire arrow flight.
Yeah.
Those bows are not that fast. Not in a tech event.
No, yeah. Um, at long distance, that stuff shows up more too.
On impact point. But just like you know, for the 166 guy, the 204 heavy guy, you see them. If they are shooting 30, 40 yards, they would tell you how much penetrating the arrow behave. In some ways, they are right, but they're giving up a lot to get that.
Yeah, and into a target. Like how
Right.
much
And then
how much does that matter?
well, the tech is supposed to imitate what a true hunting event is. But at the same time, you can't argue with people who already know what they're doing, but
Yeah,
who claim to know what they're doing.
right.
And the best to let the result show itself.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. If you were to shoot um the TAC event yourself
Mm-hmm.
with your vertical bow, what do you
Yep.
think what do you think you would use?
If I want to shoot that caribou that 115 yards, I think the best arrow I can possibly shoot going to be my Arrow Weave 300 with the 300 spine, 300 ID. I will shoot the AIH3LA, which is a light version of the insert with about 8-inch tubing, not 6, but 8. And then I'll put everything 3 on it. That will give me the higher chance to get a truck.
Now, that correct me if I'm wrong here, but the truck shot is an inside out. Like you can't be hugging the line. So wouldn't a skinnier arrow be better?
On the pure physics, yes. But on the control of the shaft, no.
Yeah. You just got to be on your game with a thicker
Right. I
arrow.
mean, if you really want that shot, I think the longest point will give you the best result.
Yeah.
In other words, shoot those punch points. Or I mean, they don't make broadhead like the super. I mean, remember the red Raven broadhead? You know, the one with the point all the way down and then flare.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of broadhead would do the best because then just in case you touch the edge, you got a chance to glance in.
Yeah. Did did you see did anyone at the TAC event have like the steel targets this year?
I heard a bing bing sound. So see, I'm right next to all the targets on the practice. See, if you walk the hill, I'm right on the left side in the beginning of the hill.
Yeah.
So I just sit there and all of a sudden, like the main event come back, bing, 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 bing. Oh, there goes all the arrows.
Yeah. We had the steel target last year when we did a TAC event and most people didn't want to shoot it because they didn't want to lose an arrow.
Well, I mean, there's something you play. If you're that good, threading a steel target is not bad. But remember, even if your target is under 20 yards, even if you shoot through the target, your arrow's gone anyway.
Yeah. We I mean imagine a fully set up Firenock 166 decked out. a $40
Mm-hmm.
arrow shaft. You're not going to want to take the risk.
No, let's think through it. If you shoot a 166 fully decked out, that means you're using a CTI. The CTI is $20. Then you say you want to be really good at it. You go my stalker system. Oh, that's $40 on the insert. Then you put $40 on the field point. Well, you're $80 into your frontal part. And then you say you got an Airwave 166, but that's 220. So right in the get-go, before you touch the thing, that's $300 right there.
300 for a dozen.
Yes. We have nothing on labor or anything.
So that's $25 in materials per shaft. Not
Without the
no
knock
knock, no
or vein
veins.
or point.
Yeah.
But then if you know what you're doing, that doesn't arrow, in my opinion, will last you 3 to 5 years.
If you don't shoot any steel targets.
Yes. But you know what? In some way, only if you look at that setup, I think the point is the only thing that will be damaged with my system.
Hmm. Depends
I
on how
mean, it's
thick the
just like the
steel is.
204 I built. Even if you hit the steel, the only thing that would deform in the entire thing and have any crack should be the field point and the field point only.
Yeah. Well,
Because you
that'd be
think about
great.
it, the stalker, just like all my final insert, is fully encapsulated. So the shaft would you would not have a mushroom effect. Now, what would be bad is that you shoot that thing under 20 yards and under 10 yards and you shoot through the hole. Now you're going to scrape the veins first. You're going to
Yep.
scrape the side of the shaft. Then the shaft is damaged
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be
for
better
good.
just hitting it square.
Yeah, but you couldn't. Because I said, if you shoot under 10 yard, even with the arrow concept, the thing is totally square. The vein is going to push you aside, and then you're going to scrape the back of the arrow is the inside of that stainless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bad deal. That'd be a bad
No,
deal.
not the stainless, the steel plate.
Yeah.
You really don't have much you can't do much to it. So are you guys doing any tech event this year?
No, no, we didn't do any this year. We're trying to push this to get the app for the trail cameras out, and all hands are on deck on that. So we
Yep,
decided
but I
not
heard
to
they're
do any
doing some
TAC
major
events.
progress. So how's the aero part should be doing quite well. I think a lot of people are really looking your original MMT. They should be really enjoying it.
Yeah, the MMT's a that thing is a seller. That we sell more of those than the NIS for sure.
See, I told you, the moment you understand it, especially into if today I'm getting say a Hoy RX-8 or a Phase 4, and then decide between NIS or the MMS, is a no contest. The MMT is so much better.
Yeah. I mean, I like them both. I shoot the NIS myself. Um, but
It's a sexy arrow. It's really good looking,
it
but it's
is.
just too much work to build. I just like the
That's
MMT. It's just like you don't fool around. It's just like that's the go-to arrow.
yeah, when someone orders an MMT and I'm back there building and an
Mhm.
MMT order comes through, I'm like, oh yes, thank God.
I mean, it's like
especially
this. Uh-huh.
especially when it's an arrow vein. When
Oh
MMT
yes.
with arrow vein, three fletch straight, perfect.
Yeah, because it's easy to build. The performance is guaranteed. The worst thing the guy, let me tell you the worst scenario. The guy told you, "Oh, I need a lighter arrow. I need a strength. I need a custom order. I'll custom some order some titanium insert for you and do it with the 4 vein."
Oh yeah. We get
You can
those.
already, I can already sell the bitterness in my mouth.
Yeah,
You're
we
gonna
get
spend
those.
some time in it.
Yeah. But I know that well without the four veins, that's a whole nother story. But the titanium inserts, I see the benefit. I mean, I shoot them myself.
I know it is, but you know the cost. It just, but you know what? You really the NIS with the titanium. I think that's the best combination setup. The only downside is the cost.
Yeah, what is it?
But
$70
then,
for a dozen?
yeah. But then ask yourself this question: unless you use JB Weld, that dozen of insert is going to last. I mean, even with JB Weld, you can take it out and then find a small file and file the JB Weld and reuse it. The titanium literally will last you forever and ever. What are you
Yeah,
going to
I
do to it?
right. Yeah, I've been shooting for 2 years and the same dozen arrows that I built when we
The
tested it.
aluminum is going to deform eventually, especially if you hunt with it.
Yeah.
So you think of aluminum, you should really absolutely straight build on it because you want to live and die with it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. We're gonna I'm gonna build we don't use JB Weld on the front. I'm gonna maybe try a set and see
Yeah,
how it
what you do is
works.
that you put a little bit glue just when you're finished with it, get a Q-tip, get all the glue out, and then use the pot and then put JB1 on it, and then push it together and spin it. You'll
Okay.
find out that first of all, that thing will be so much better on the stainless and in titanium. It's not much use on aluminum, but you can because then you'll never guarantee. Because if the customer tell you, "Oh, I shoot 3 dozen arrows and I got about a dozen of inside unit," you pretty much tell you. Let me guess, you use one of those target that use cut cloth. You know the worn out
The
jeans and
bag
the,
targets.
the,
Yeah.
yes, that will break down every single flexible glue.
Yeah, those bag targets are hell. And then couple that with a field point that's not the right size and it gives you a lip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll catch it. You now have to open the box and then literally take everything out and then peel the cloth around the few points.
Yeah, those I hate bag targets. Hate them.
Well, it's remember the days back in 2000 to 2008 approximately, the block target with the layer foam.
Yep.
That's about the best target I ever shot. If for my speed is under 200, I'm at 320 feet per second. It's so nice, but you really do not want to shoot broadhead with it. You're gonna
Oh
thread
no.
that thing in no time.
Yeah. Yeah, the block targets now are so hard.
Yes, because they try to make it last, but the moment you make it last, you lost the reason to buy it.
Yeah. Yep. I think the
Especially,
best target that I have shot is the 365 targets. Have you
hmm
seen those?
hmm
It's like
yes,
a self-healing foam or whatever. It's super soft. Like the impact is really soft, but you still don't shoot through it. I love those things.
yeah, because they are using the deformation of the foam to encapsulate the target. That was what is stopping it. So the
Yeah.
faster you go, the more you grab it, which I think is a smart design. It's the same thing with the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt individual box stack target is similar material. A lot
Yeah.
of range use it.
Yeah, and it's not harsh on your equipment and you can shoot broadheads into it. I just don't because I don't want to tear it up.
Right, you literally thread it. I mean, I see what happened is that when Scorpio comes out first come out back in 2006 7 with the Audi T165, but what Audi T1s it shoot 420 feet per second. I don't know we Audi T165, yes, that's a 165-pound limb. You should see how many those arrow, the original gold tip arrow
Yeah.
into those BLOB target. You wear the entire shaft on the insert in the target.
Jeez.
Yes, it does. I mean, I know a guy shot my original arrow bow, which got an 11.5 inch inside CTI on the arrow bow 2, which is which is nothing more than a gold tip laser 2 with a 11.5 inch CTI, which back then I got gold tip to make me the 246 300 with the extra grind on the outside to give me 298,000. I actually got an arrow come back to me after 3 years. You can see the inside shaft on the outside, and the arrow is still shooting.
Wow.
Hmm. Of
That's
course,
pretty impressive.
I call him back. Hey, do you know that your outside shaft is gone? He said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, I should have kept that picture.
That's pretty cool.
So, so any exciting event for you? Are you going to any special hunt this coming year?
Well, I drew an elk tag, so I'm gonna
Good.
go to Idaho and I'll go out there with Chad. So that should be fun. Um, but I think that's basically that's gonna take up the most of my vacation. So I'll hunt in
Right. So,
Ohio and
so
stuff, but
what bows are you using the Hoyt this year? The one you got last
yeah,
year?
yeah.
And what is Chet using?
Chad's shooting a prime Revex.
That's a good bow.
Yeah, prime. Yeah, the Revex 4 or something.
Well, if you come out my way, you should stop by. I'll update your Hoyt. That Hoyt need a lot of help. The RX-8 is much better. I told you the RX-8 is better than RX-7. Seriously,
So I
good
have a
design.
here's a bow question RX8 situation. My uncle bought one
Hmm.
and maybe you will have an idea of what's going on. But when you put the bow on a draw board,
Mm-hmm.
the cables are only contacting the cable stops by like an eighth of an inch. And
Okay.
if he puts any torque in it at all, the cable pulls past the cable stop and the bow derails. They put the shop put new limbs on it because they thought it could be a deflection issue. They put new axles in it because they thought they could be bent. New cams. Bow still doesn't.
I would think the first thing to do is check the limb pocket on the supporting limb pocket because it's on a single. It's a triac system. It's a 3-to-1 cap system, which is one of the best because that was used back in the cam and a half. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that system. But if they don't machine it perfectly, when you pull that thing, see the RX is a truly left and right balance bow compared to RX-7. The RX-7, if any time you put it back on the drawboard, you notice the entire cam will lean to the same side.
Yeah.
The RX don't. The RX, the upper cam will lean to, if the upper cam will lean to the right, the lower cam will lean to the left. So it's a system. So the center point are reasonably good. But if the limb pocket support, which is a pivot point, is not straight, you guarantee of that.
I'll have them check that because I mean
Remember, it's a
can't
carbon
figure it out.
riser. It is not that difficult for the curing process on the fixation of the carbon riser to be off.
Sure. Yeah.
See, imagine this a two parallel point. If your upper parallel point is actually crooked, the whole system follow it. It happened to me on my Oneida, original Oneida X80. I was just amazed that I was shooting a 5-degree off center riser. See, when they drill
That's
the
a
two
lot.
plate that hold the cam, one side is actually down like this. So the axle
Jeez.
is off. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
I mean, I remember I was shooting the fine line sight. I have to find I actually bend the entire because it's a rectangular sight. I actually bend the sight about 15 degree. So my pins are from upper right to lower left.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I can shoot 30, I shoot 40 yards. I mean, guys, I mean, just look at it. But if you don't know, you don't know.
Right. Boy,
I
you've
make
come
it
a long
work.
way.
Oh, yes, I did come a long way. I mean, back then, the fine line sight is considered the best. It's nothing more than a few pieces of wire holding down with set screws.
Right.
And you have no third axis adjustment. That's what I did. I bend the entire holding with the vice grip and holding on the vice and then bend it so that my pins are in a diagonal form. Sorry, it's like when we're young, we do stupid things because I don't know better.
Yeah. Well, that's how you learn.
Yes, but then I'm trying to share all my hard-earned stupid experience with people so they don't do this.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're
Yes,
here
if you
for.
yeah, but then on top of this, it's another thing I got a Hoyt. That will be my laser tag that behave like that. You know what the problem with that laser tag is? I got a bad bearing.
Oh.
So the upper cam always turns slower than the upper and lower cam and jump and then lead the. You need to hear it. The moment I shot it, I was wondering how come I got so much more sound on the upper cam. So I call Hoyt and say, "Oh, we know what it is. You got a bad bearing." Said, oh, they know exactly what we have. In other words, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say that must have happened a couple times.
They must have got a bad batch of bearing up because some bearings are mixed so bad and they a little bit moisture and it causes the rust. And then you no longer rotate, then it's not rotating as smoothly. And a cam only rotate 179 to 170 degree in
Hmm.
most designs. I
Right.
mean, Jim Camp's design that 270-degree cam, I think was the best, but except he never made it. I think it's
Hmm.
good. The patent's going to expire. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they get that figured out. But all right, Dorge, if you guys are headed to the Michigan Total Archery Challenge, make sure you stop by and see Dorge. Um, that's a big event. It's one of the most attended events on the east side, so there should be a lot of folks
Yes,
there.
yeah, and then we'll talk about it next Tuesday then.
Yeah, sounds good. Have a good trip, and we'll see you
And
then.
oh, I say if you guys want to learn, bring your question to me. I will try my best to answer them. Gather your thoughts. Otherwise, you end up spending an hour on my booth. I don't think you want to do that. A few
Yeah,
people did.
yeah. Well, that's good. They got an education and got to shoot, and it's a win-win.
Absolutely. All
All
right,
right,
have a good one.
Dorge. Thank you.